Hi guys, Amazon Marketing Cloud Audiences with this high value audiences solution part 3. In this part, I'm going to cover how to create audiences of missed opportunities and how you can benefit from them. In my previous, first two parts, I covered some general overview on how you can use this tool. It's super effective and super easy, and how you can use purchases and how to analyze the data and create some audiences lookalike and different variations of them. Now for this part 3, I'm going to concentrate on missed opportunities. And just as a short recap, you can see the summary of your performance for the date range that you selected over here. So you can set it like last month, last 3 months, and last 6 months. It's only by month. So we cannot, for example, now it's February the 2nd, and when we select last month, it's going to be still the whole month of December. So probably in the next few days, the data from January will be available. What you can notice here immediately is that when we selected last month only, some of these quick audiences we are not able to create them simply because the audience size is less than 500. So to overcome that limitation, you can, if it justifies, if the data justifies to do that, you can increase that to last 3 months, and then immediately you have some additional audiences. Now, the selection of data ranges can impact the precision of your audiences pretty significantly, simply because if you select previous 3 months and, for example, you say, okay, I want to target people who added my product to cart in previous 3 months, and haven't bought, chances are they already bought your competitor's product, most likely, if that's the case. But you can check that through other MCU reports like time to conversion, and then check if that makes sense or not. So this is, for example, let's leave it as last 3 months because it doesn't make sense for our demonstration here. So between the two tabs, you have purchases and then different data on the purchases, but we want to focus on missed opportunities here. Now you can see here that breakdown of how they call it conversion metrics and how many total users are in each of the buckets, and the audience size, which is typically the same, like total users and audience size. I don't know why they split it like that, but anyway, here you can select, for example, detail page view. And since most of these, except the subscription, are more than 500 people, you can automatically create audience off of those. For example, wish list. So you can create an audience based on people who added your product wish list but still haven't bought. Now, I still need to test what the customer review would be, because if it's under mystery opportunities, it's a customer review. So could it be that you're targeting people who did a review of your product? Doesn't make any sense because it's a missed opportunity. So how could they review your product if they haven't bought it? So that's I owe you that one. And the rest of that is pretty self-explanatory. For example, usually people like the add to cart abandoners the most, and that's where you can concentrate at the beginning. I would probably select, because it's for this account, it's a lot of users for 3 months of cart abandoners. So I would probably go just last month cart abandoners and do that, for example, in a few days once the data in January is available. And then you can use add to cart and hit create audience. Immediately you will be presented with a screen to create an audiences of people who added your product to cart but they didn't buy. So you can then export that audience and use it in your sponsored products, sponsored brands, or sponsored display audiences, and then add that audience to your campaign under the bid adjustment settings. Furthermore, I've covered that in more details, how to add audiences to your campaigns. You can look that up on my YouTube channel. So what you could potentially do is you could add this audience to your sponsored ads campaign, and then what you can do, you can maybe set a base bid, really low base bid for general audience. Like, I don't know, if your bid is competitive bid would be $1, then you could say, hey, bid, I don't know, 30 cents for this base bid, which is for general audience, and then add this audience multiplier adjustment for, I don't know, I would start probably with a 200% increase. So effectively, you would bid 50 cents for general audience, and you would bid $1.50 or even more for people who are your cart abandoners, and then you would be more aggressive towards them. Or you could probably test that and put a really like minimum bid for general audience, and then make it like a exclusively campaign for add to cart abandoners. And then you could add, if it's a sponsored brand ad, a sponsored display, you can add some certain headline like, hey, you missed this opportunity. It's super cool. It's stupid because you haven't bought or whatever. So that's also an option. Here, even though I've selected add to cart on my previous screen, it still offers me to select even more of these conversion metrics to be the baseline, or sorry, the basis for the audience, but I want to keep it granular. So I want to create add to cart, and on the separate audience, I want to create people who did a brand search, and then especially interesting detail page views. So people who already visited your product page but haven't bought. That's super helpful because that's an audience who is really interested in your products. Then you can also, as all the others, you can select if it's going to be people who already were exposed to your ad or non-exposed to your ad. So for some additional granularity. Then choose your products, choose your marketplace and your brand. And again, similar as in previous two parts that I recorded, you can select like most similar audience or most broad audience, depending on what you want to accomplish and how wide you want to go. Or if you want to just target these guys who abandoned the cart, then you need to select a rule-based audience. Set a proper name and proper description, because with multiple different audiences, you will get lost in what you created. Let me know what you think. I think this is super helpful because you don't need any SQL knowledge, SQL knowledge, however you call it. Don't need to go into query editor whatsoever. You just select, pinpoint what you want to accomplish, hit create audience, wait for a little bit for it to be available, and then go to your campaigns and play with it, play with the adjustments. Forward this to your team who manages your PPC, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I'll be glad to answer them. See you tomorrow in the next video. Bye bye.